May I have your attention? The forum discussion is about to begin now. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to the panelists and all the participants that attend today. My name is MIZAN bin ADINATA, moderator for today. For today's topic, is it e-sport be established as a category in multi-sports competition such as the Olympic? I will give the basic definition about the e-sport. E-sport describes the world of competitive and organized of video gaming. Competitors from different leagues or teams face off in the same games that are popular with home gamers such as Fortnite, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Madden NFL. These gamers are watched and followed by billions of fans all over the world who attend live events or tune in on TV or online. Streaming service like Twitch allows viewers to watch as their favorite gamers play in real time, and this is typically where popular gamers build up their fandoms. Esports are the competitive play of video games for a spectator audience. As a traditional sport have continued to grow in size, esports have also been growing in popularity and have been garnering significantly increased viewership and participation in recent years. First of all, I would like to welcome you all to this forum discussion today. In this occasion, we would like to have a forum discussion with our 5 top panelists. First, Ms. Ain Sofia binti Ibrahim, coach of KL Esport. Ms. Nur Afiqah Farzana binti RAIS, pro player PUBG Mobile for Yudu team. Ms. Siti NAJIHAH binti SAPIAN, UiTM FSK student. Ms. KHAIRIN NADHIRAH binti RAZMAN, teacher from Sekolah Kebangsaan Alam Damai. And last but not least, Mr. Muhammad ALIFF SYAWAL bin Muhammad ROSLI, freelance speaker. Without further ado, I would like to welcome the panelists to deliver the forum discussion. Okay, next panelist is Ms. Ain Sofia. Ms. Ain Sofia, the floor is yours.
So thank you, Mr. Moderator. So from my point of view, as the coach of KL Esport team, Esport does deserve a place in multi-sports competition. Why do I say so? Because Esport is a sport. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, sport can be defined as an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. One of the research projects in the Scandinavian Journal of Public Health stated that absolute intensity can be used to determine the intensity of exercise by analyzing the multiple of an individual's basal metabolic rate, MET. And since the MET could be used to determine exertion, a connection could be made via how the MET is affected when playing video games. The second part of the definition is to analyze the skill. To become a professional gamer, a player must learn different skills and techniques to get better. Daphne Bevelier, a neuroscientist, conducted a study that showed people learn skill from playing action video games. In another study, she concludes that not one skill, but many skills are obtained playing action video games. In competitive gaming, the skilled players dominate people that play for fun. And in esport, there is a clear divide in win-loss record between players that are considered professional and those that are not. So the definition concludes with a person or team competing against another person or team for entertainment. As a hobby, playing video games has grown into competitions and tournaments with monetary gains. Depending on the game, a player can enter the contest alone in the case of fighting games like Street Fighter, or join a team in games such as Counter-Strike or League of Legends. ESPN in the United States and other networks across the world has broadcasted esport. Even special esport venues have been built to accommodate the tournaments. So don't you feel like it's quite unfair and biased if esport is excluded from a huge sports competition like the Olympics? I do. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ain Sofia, for the point of view. So I will proceed to the next panelist, which is Ms. AFIQAH. Proceed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Moderator. After experiencing esport in the Olympic for the first time as a gamer myself, I believe that its inclusion can greatly benefit as a whole. For example, if the Olympics acknowledge an event as unique as esport, they will be able to attract a completely new audience while also revitalizing viewership among their present audience. According to NBC News, the Tokyo Olympics had a record low viewership compared to the previous Olympics in 2016. And data shows that this declining trend has been prevalent since 2008. Including more esports in the mix will not only revitalize the Olympics, but it also attracts younger viewers. Furthermore, including esports in the Olympics might help to lessen the social stigma associated with video gaming. If the Olympic embrace esports, I believe the stigma associated with gaming will be lifted and its health advantages will be more widely recognized. Many video games urge user communication to achieve goals. For example, PUBG, Mobile Legends, League of Legends, and certain Call of Duty game modes need teamwork to work together to effectively remove the other squad and claim victory. To complete tasks and win competition, a team must interact and work together. In contrast to traditional sports, esports players are mostly concerned with the screen. Their vision is completely obstructed, and hearing is their sole dependent source of information. As a result, in esports, communication among team members are critical. They must communicate their messages properly and accurately. After each competition, the team must assess their talents, strategies, and team formation. This has been stated by Freeman on 2017. Furthermore, video games have the potential to provide several cognitive advantages, such as increased hand-eye coordination, memory, problem-solving abilities, through improving the areas of the brain responsible for certain forms of attention and visual spatial skills. According to a meta-analysis of the association between cognitive skills and playing action video games, individuals who play frequently have superior cognitive skills, particularly perception and spatial cognition, than those who do not play or play infrequently, stated by Benoit, January 2018. Playing action games can help a person resolve brain conflicts related to vision and object tracing more quickly. In addition, gamers typically have stronger grayscale vision and better sense of object rotation than non-gamers. If individuals are concerned that esports at the Olympic may encourage video games addiction, then there are methods that consumers can or should utilize to avoid increasing video games addiction. For example, on Sony PlayStation 5 or Nintendo, the games that people nowadays like to play from virtual, parents may limit how long their children can play to help elevate their children's fear of addiction. The Olympic will profit from esports, from young and rising audience-based attraction, a population that traditional sports do not. Rod Breslau, an esport and gaming consultant, once said, the Olympics need esports more than esports need the Olympics. And I agreed with what he said. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. AFIQAH, for the point of view. So I will proceed to the next panelist, which is Ms. NAJIHAH. Thank you.
Thank you, our moderator. It is common knowledge that youth are the most involved group in the esport industry worldwide. The involvement of these many youth must have been driven by a number of causal factors, such as in the video games, peer influence, and winning prize. As a panelist from UiTM FSK student, I firmly agree with the statement that esport needs to be established in multi-sport. Esport can form euphoria in students, at the same time increasing their self-confidence, as well as can relieve stress. As students, we always have a low income to enjoy releasing tension or stress. We need to pay for everything like food, data, and books. As we are students, almost all of us have devices, at least a smartphone and laptop. So I believe that esport can reduce their financial to enjoy and also release their stress without increasing anything such as money, gas, or equipment. As Ain has just said that esport needs skills to play. As students, We always need to find new skills to improve for our future. In the future, e-sport can be one of the career that can go further. Before e-sport become famous, there were many young people who entered this competition and managed to make a name, and many of them become millionaires. For example, Fakers, 26 years old, net worth 10 million US dollar. Next is Ninja. His net worth is 15 US dollars. This example can encourage students to build up more skills so that they can use it in the future. It will be more of an e-sport or game that can be built in this era. So as I said, e-sport should be in the Olympics so that we can have a variety of sports and not only focus on physical sports. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Najihah. So I will proceed to our next panelist, which is Ms. KHAIRIN, teacher from Sekolah Kebahasaan Alam Dabai. You can proceed now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. So, in my opinion, I personally disagree that esports deserve a place in multi-sport competitions. I'm saying this because esports is not an Olympic type of game. These types of sedentary competitive computer games are not considered Olympic type sport because they are not sufficiently human, lack direct physicality, do not use decisive whole body control, cannot aid in the development of the whole person, and their production, ownership, and promotion patterns severely restrict the emergence of the kind of lasting institution. Claim similarity to demand and spectatorship. Institutionalization and ethical standing, among other things, are irrelevant. Do you think esports is really a sport? That is the logically first point that needs to be addressed before thinking about its appeal to young people. The IOC's ethical concerns about the unacceptable brutality in some video games are analogous. However, conceptual questions concerning whether esports are sports come first. Those concerns may very well be valid. Numerous Olympic-style sports, including lacrosse, jai alai, sepak takraw, or cricket, have passed the initial test, but for a variety of reasons, have never been and still unlikely to be included in the Olympic program. Since various sports that have already been acknowledged by the IOC as Olympic type of activity have made competing claims, the e-sport matter should be understood to be about more than only e-sport. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. KHAIRIN, for your point of view. So last but not least, our next panelist, which is Muhammad Alif SYAWAL. You can proceed now for your point of view for this forum discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I have same opinion as Ms. KHAIRIN, who disagree. I must acknowledge that esports are becoming more and more popular, particularly among young people. However, if we compare it, that was stage brought spectators of all ages to make it more exciting. If we take a broad view of the esport, we will notice that only one gender group, which is men, dominates it. Although there are women who participate in esports, the majority of international competition, including those for FIFA games, Mobile Legends, Dota 2, and others, are dominated by men. If there are any female competitors, the ratio will be 1/10, it demonstrating how men have historically dominated this sport. Due to this, the sport does not obey the rules of Olympics, which demand gender equality in every sport that is competed in the Olympics. Even though about equal parts of men and women play video games, the majority of competitive players are men, according to a study on gender and gaming. Furthermore, marginalizing female players who attain certain degrees of success make this game feel discriminatory to women. Then, many video games today contain violent elements. Therefore, sometimes the philosophy of the Olympics does not fully match with all of the visual elements of contemporary peace. Games like Dota 2 Counter-Strike Go, and many other, show violent sequence with blood. This is one of the main justification for esport exclusion from the Olympics. Problem with esport games license are last, but certainly not least. Video games are produced by creative studio of this or that publisher. This indicates that they have complete control over whether or not to make a game an esport-driven product. They might forbid export team from using their product to make any money. The publisher should simultaneously take care of the little that are already in the esport community. This means that throughout the course of the competition year, frequent upgrade rewards, bug patches, thematic event, and much more should be scheduled. If developers want to maintain and build on the success already achieved, they will need to collaborate closely with the highly competitive video game industry and players at the same time, satisfying both group needs. If the IOC decides to include sport as a separate discipline of the future Olympic Games, they will also need to collaborate with publishers of competitive video games and titles. These are the explanation as to why Olympic participation in this sport is unjustified and difficult. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alif, for the point of view. So we have end of our argumentative. So the next part, so we have totally agree that we have 3 panel members who agree and 2 disagree. It was a great discussion and debate from our leading panel members today. Okay, next, I want to ask Miss AFIQAH, what do you think about Miss KHAIRIN during her deliver the point of view just now?
Although I have a different argument, but I still agree with the evidence that Miss KHAIRIN, a teacher from SK Alam Damai, put forward where it lacks direct physicality, do not use decisive whole body control, cannot aid in the development of the whole person and more. But as I said before, in improving the areas of the brain such as increased hand-eye coordination, memory, fast decision-making, and problem-solving abilities. Playing action games can help a person resolve brain conflicts related to vision and object tracing more quickly. So it focuses more on visual and vision instead of physical. That's my reaction to what Ms. KHAIRIN has said just now.
Thank you for your opinion. So I want to proceed that I want to ask Ms. Ain, according to the argument you presented earlier, don't you think it's unfair to compare the physical exertion between traditional sport and e-sport as it appears to be a generalization without any concrete support? When one thinks about everyday exercise, video games are typically not what comes to our mind. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a sport is any physical activity that is done for fun. While video game play takes some skill and coordination, it does not include enough physical activity to qualify as a sport. Although board games like chess or card games like solitaire also demand strategy, they are not similar to sport, despite the fact that video games do as well. Furthermore, even while training helps gamers enhance their talents, much like in sport, playing an instrument still it isn't considered a sport despite the fact that it involves practice and training. In this regard, playing computer games is not only infrequently helpful, but it also lacks the physicality that sport have shown to promote. Ultimately, when considering the inherent physical nature of most sports, e-sport cannot confidently be categorized the same way. While it remains true that video games and competitive gaming require high levels of skill and critical thinking, their lack of exertion rules e-sport out as a sport. Can you clarify more on this?
So thank you for the concern, Ms. KHAIRIN. As I have stated earlier, sport is an activity including a physical exertion, which is not a appropriately based on physical movement. So physical exertion means the activity of exerting or forcing your muscles in various ways to keep it fit. Although the amount of physical movement while playing video games is nothing compared to playing football, multiple links can be observed and even has been proven between physical exertion and video games. According to a study performed in the American Journal of Health Behavior, male and female participants' metabolic rate increased between 4 to 9 while participating in video games that involve dancing. One of the researchers in an article I studied was able to get their participants' MET at a low to moderate activity level by standing and shaking Nintendo Wii controllers while playing Mario and Sonic in a competition. This shows how physical exertion is being demonstrated during the playing of video games. And as someone who has joined and even witnessed lots of competition, I can see that during video games competitions and training, many esports athletes exhibit signs that could be considered physical exertion in order to keep up with the routine of being a professional video gamer.
I'm sorry for interrupt. I want to add some point what Ain has just said. According to one in 2018, a male teacher, 39 years old, died while playing badminton and got a heart attack before he died. In the same month, 17 years old student died during playing a football. And in 2017, a man 49 years old died while playing a football. We can see that physical sports also can be harmful, and it really shocked us because they are died just like that, and they died while playing a physical sport. That's
Okay, from this discussion, for me, I continue to remain unsure that esports deserve in the Olympics. The biggest issue in my concern is the frequency injuries that occur among esport competitors. Overuse injuries are one of the many things that can happen to esport participants after playing for a long period of time. Overuse injuries, also known as repetitive stress injuries, occur when muscle and tendons are used repeatedly during an activity to the point where discomfort and inflammation are produced. If these wounds are left untreated, permanent damage such as numbness and disability may follow. Gamers frequently sustain overuse injuries to their hands and arms. Next, carpal tunnel syndrome is a typical case which many gamers experience. Inflammation of a nerve is in the wrist result in carpal tunnel syndrome, which is frequently found in the office workers and gamers and causes discomfort and numbness. For the next injuries is gamer thumb. The condition known as gamer's thumb, formerly known as PlayStation thumb, develop when the tendons that allow the thumb to move become inflamed. The curved tenosynovitis is the medical name for this condition, which can cause swelling and restricted movement. This is the reason why I continue to remain unsure that esports deserve in the Olympics. That's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Alif, for the last of the reaction. Okay, to all the respective panelists, thank you for the reaction that be given. So I will start the Q&A session now. Dear Miss AFIQAH, the public is now very fond of PUBG games all over the world. What are the interesting features in the game?
Okay, why do you believe open world games are so popular? Because they allow the participants the freedom to do anything they want. Games provide an escape from the harsh realities and brutal truths of life. After defeating the bad guys or simply surviving the brutal terrain, they feel a sense of success and glory. Another reason why PUBG are so addicting is because they allow us to do things we can do in real life, such as firing a bazooka at Batman with an AK-47 like a boss, driving million-dollar automobile like Lamborghini or Ferrari, or flying some super future spacecraft. It allows players to gain survival experience. It links gamers with millions of others who have similar gaming mindset. Players in this game continue with the archaic mindset of kill or be killed. They simply let go and feel liberated when playing this game. All in all, I truly believe that esports deserves to be included in the Olympics. From the potential increase in viewership that would result from its inclusion to the various social benefits it provides, esports certainly has a lot of potential. The Olympics are meant to unite people from all walks of life to celebrate world peace and prosperity, and the inclusion of esports only does more to achieve that goal. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Afika, for the answer. So I will pass to the question to the Ms. Ain Sofia. Ms. Ain, what is the appropriate time and period if one is playing a game?
So in general, I would say it is best to play video games only after our tasks have been completed. However, in certain cases where we have a long period of tasks, it is fine for people to steal a short moment to play the video games, but of course, it should be monitored so we don't exceed the time limit. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends no more than 2 hours per day screen-based entertainment for children, while regular adults should only spend 4 to 6 hours of their day playing video games. Some days every week should be video game free. For people who make esports as a career, it is advised for them not to exceed 12 to 14 hours of video games per day. However, it is also recommended for them to take a break after each session as a way to relax their eyes and mind.
Thank you, Ms. Ain. So I will proceed the next question to Ms. Najihah. How can young people, especially students, divide their time for lessons and also for esports? Thank you.
All right. I'm sure that my friends are mature enough to differentiate between study time and also play time, unlike school students who are not good enough to differentiate between study time and play time. Because of that, parents need to monitor younger siblings who are still in school. Unlike university students, if they are not good at managing their own time, how do they want to spend their study time here, right? So as university students, we are the backbone for the future. No matter what the position. Being a university student, it is necessary to divide time in any way such as eating, playing, studying, doing any work, and must be good at dividing time. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Najihah. So I will pass the next question to the Ms. KHAIRIN. What do you think if esports is conducted at the school level?
Okay, as a teacher, I personally believe that if esport practice in school, it will divert students' attention. Students will have less time to review studies and do homework because they are more likely to spend time engaging in enjoyable activities, particularly practice for video games. This will impede their academic growth and cause a decline. The psychology department at Denison University in Granville, Mr. Weiss and Mr. Karen Koski reported that the youngsters who had new gaming device not only spend less time on their homework, but also perform worse on reading and writing standardized exam 4 months later. Furthermore, their teachers were more likely to bring up academic concern.
Thank you, Ms. KHAIRIN. So I will proceed to the next question to Mr. ALIFF. Do sport competition require sophisticated devices? How do you young people want to get the device if they are still students? Thank you.
Thank you for your inquiry. Without a doubt, the answer is yes. Esports require complex equipment to ensure that the tournament can be held. Since the event will be broadcast live, the internet networks also need to be in top condition. For the greatest quality of online games, will require smartphone and laptop with high specification. In order to purchase all of this equipment, a large budget is required. Next, finding a sponsor is difficult since the sponsoring organization must make sure that the team they will support can win many competitions and boost their reputation. For Olympics, the host of Olympic show cover all expenses force competitors to spend more money and force them to give up their sport in order to save expenses. Because of the numerous factors that must be taken into account to make sure the activity are effective, Organizing esports is not an easy task and not many countries want to host the esports. That's for me.
Thank you, Mr. Alif. Okay, from the forum discussion have shown that esport provides many of the same benefits of grass sport, minus the physical exertion. There is teamwork, communication, strategy, and sportsmanship learned through the participating in organized esport. For the players, the addition of the digital esport league can only help them further develop the cognitive skill we currently refine during the play on the grass. Esport fit the criteria to sustain the Olympics demand. Competitive video game tournaments draw thousands of fans in person and millions more viewers on broadcasts around the world. So in order for esport to stay contemporary with the times, they will need to take the serious look at this figure of how to have an esport participate in Olympics. That's all for today. Thank you to